kind of ties into AEW, and this one, the other one talked about MJF, and this one involves Eric Bischoff. And he said that AEW Dynamite surpassing WCW Nitro in shows is like a participation trophy. So, for those of you who don't remember, April 16th, AEW Dynamite ran its 289th show, and that officially had the brand surpass WCW Nitro as the longest running wrestling show on a Turner network. Eric Bischoff was at the helm of WCW through most of Nitro's tenure, including its famous 83-week run as the top wrestling show on television, beating out WWE Raw, and that's what the name of his podcast is. I think it's 83 weeks.
Yep.
And speaking to Ariel Helwani on the Ariel Helwani show, Bischoff was asked about Dynamite surpassing Nitro. Bischoff said, "I just chuckled. It's like a participation trophy. I guess it matters to somebody. If you took all the viewing audience that we had over whatever run Nitro had, I think it would take AEW another 15 years to deliver that audience at the rate they are going," he said. Bischoff admitted he doesn't keep up with the current AEW product, but did say AEW All-In attendance was a good accomplishment for the promotion. Tony Khan said AEW All-In drew nearly 30,000 fans. Elsewhere during the interview, Bischoff praised TNA Wrestling, believing they could be the number 2 promotion in the next year if they get the right TV deal. So that's interesting. And Chris, was that you? Did you just make a loud laugh?
Yeah, that was me.
Thoughts on that? You don't think TNA has it in them with TKO's money?
Nah, are they under TKO? TNA?
No,
they're a partner.
They're a partner, and I feel like something's going to happen with TNA in the next couple of years that I think they either get bought out.
It's about to happen.
Yeah, I think something's going to happen there.
I mean, that would have to happen. They would have to have the purse for it, and then they would have to be, putting shows in, across the nation in the West, right? US, Canada type of thing. Just like AEW, just like WWE, be viable for that. It's possible, but I don't know. I don't see it.
Do you agree with Eric Bischoff's take that AEW surpassing Nitro in episode count is like a participation trophy?
No. Because, the Nitro that people remember fondly was like the perfect storm. You get Hulk Hogan, rest in peace. We'll talk about him later. You get, Eric Bischoff getting the right people, WWF on the mend, all that kind of stuff. Create this perfect storm, and then you get your 83 weeks, and then nosedive because of X, Y, and Z, right? So there's AEW's consistent, right? It's been consistent since day one. There were some like slumps, but it's like still in this like viable range, and they've rebounded recently in the last like end of 2024 into 2025 from like a financial standpoint. So no, I don't think it's a participation trophy. I think it's something that's significant for AEW.
David, same question. Participation trophy or not?
Yes and no. Yes, because if you tally viewership numbers, it's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a WCW related, but like, I was reading that like one of Hogan's Saturday night main event headlines did better than this year's Super Bowl and like a couple other sporting events all together.
No kidding.
Right. So, and then no, because while they didn't have, like, while TV might not be competitive as it used to be, or maybe it is, and I'm just unaware of it, like their viewership number standard is not. Like the space might be, but I think that the threshold for viewership is lower these days because of streaming.
Yeah, it's like I was looking at the numbers earlier. It was like 5 million average or something in like the Monday Night Wars for
Yeah.
both WCW and WWF, and then
Yep.
now even like WWE's in like almost 2 million. It's like 1.5 million, I think, average or something like that, and then AEW being somewhere
Right.
around 600,000-700,000 or something for Dynamite.
Like I watch Reliving the Wars a lot on YouTube, and it's just like back to back of like what's going on in WWE and WCW, and they just do recaps of like literally the date. So like it might be like Owen Hart and D'Lo Brown on Raw and NWO shit.
Yeah, that's a cool channel.
Nitro, yeah,
Respect that guy. I forget what the channel's called, but yeah, that guy
yeah.
goes in.
That's like my stuff to put on when there's nothing to put on.
Mhm.
Like, I'll just sit there and
Comfort
yeah.
watch, good
Yeah,
background noise,
right.
something cool to listen
So
to.
just like even all the numbers they had to pull back then compared to like like it's a like for a WWE it's like a solid million before Netflix was like pretty common or like 3 mil, but like
Apples and oranges. I think it's
right,
just like it's just different landscape. I would say in the
right.
current landscape, if you're comparing AEW, against any other current promotion, they deserve the praise. But I guess
But
if we're comparing WCW, like peak WCW, yeah, I mean, it ain't there.
if this was Monsters Inc. and viewership filled the canisters, WCW would win.
Who's
Right.
Mike Wazowski?
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
Yeah.
So, what do you think about AEW's Dynamite's run compared to Nitro in terms of cultural influence, memorable moments, audience loyalty? Do you think that's comparable at all to
Audience
like?
loyalty, yes. Moments, no. I haven't
No.
seen Dennis Rodman in the NWO yet.
Yeah, I mean, like,
He did
I
show up
think
on the first collision, I think, though, at the United
Yeah.
Center.
Rodman.
Yeah, he did.
Did he? I don't
Yes.
even
Yes, he
remember.
did. Yeah. We were there.
I know, but I don't remember Dennis Rodman.
Too many beers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there.
I just remember, of course, CM Punk coming back, but
Because they made a big deal
Back
about it.
from
Because
suspension.
yeah,
yeah, with the velvet red bag.
yes, with the velvet red bag. I mean, like, I will say yes. I think AEW in terms of like a cultural like zeitgeist kind of thing, like WCW, I think was just lucky enough to be part of that storm that
Right.
also involved WWF, and it just
It's just
whatever
90s.
whatever it was, it just worked at the right time in the right mindset of humanity, let's say that, and it just became this popular thing. And today's landscape is different, and like you said before, TV and the way that people digest information is completely different in 2025 than 1995. In 1995, a lot of television viewing was like appointment viewing because most people didn't have DVR, and if you miss it, you're screwed. Like you don't,
Unless you had a fancy VCR that you
yeah,
could program.
yeah, exactly. Unless you had like a bunch of VCR tapes and you were just, recording stuff. And some people did, like David, you mentioned that before.
Yeah,
And
dude.
I
I
think,
used to have to hit record, bro, for the action figures stuff.
yeah, like we recorded because we had like Polish school on Saturdays, so we would take like existing VHS tapes. We probably recorded over something important, but like it's like
Baptism.
yeah, recorded like I think it was like it was either like Yu-Gi-Oh or Digimon or something like that. So like we were on the ass end of that whole technology stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
our mom never could find that baptism video. I don't know what happened to it.
She
Um,
turned it on and it was a random SmackDown and
yeah, it was a
fucking
ra-
O2.
it was a
Mistress
Monday Night Raw on Telemundo actually because that's the only way we could get it.
Val
I
Venus
rem-
coming
I
out.
remember vividly us recording a Telemundo episode of Raw because we were like, well, we're poor, we don't have cable. all we can do is just watch. We can hear the English in between the Spanish
Yeah.
translations. We're like, this is good enough.
F-A-
And it was on Sundays, and of course it was like the week after Raw, but we didn't care. But anyway, side tangent.
Hold on. Do you
Yeah.
think it subconsciously affected Chris?
Of the Spanish?
I think so.
Spanish? Hey,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it did. You know, I got it tight.
Well, just asking questions.
Hell yeah.
I mean, yes. So yes, viewership was completely different, and you were required to watch like the show that you wanted to watch, which is why so many people like watched it at the same time, because you then might not be able to see it again unless you get like a VHS or DVD box set of the show you missed or that you enjoyed watching. And now everything is on demand. The internet, the internet, let's think about that. Like it existed in the 90s, but not to the degree when it hit like
You
2000
couldn't make a call.
and beyond. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, when the internet and social media and all that kind of stuff like that kicked into gear like mid 2000s, and you can't imagine a world before that. Like think about all the people that grew up with already having instant, like, everything's on demand. You could watch it
Nobody had
whenever
to
you
wait
want.
for a music video.
Yeah. So like comparing I still think the culture of it, I think WCW, I don't think AEW has reached that. Maybe it could at one point. But I think the cultural significance that Nitro had, I think that I don't know if it's possible in this landscape. So they haven't really beaten them there.
I
Um,
I
but yeah.
think I think in this world now it's cool to have your own subculture, and I think like you don't always have to be pop culture.
Right.
And I think that AEW has found a nice, comfortable home as a subculture. Like they're a major promotion, but like to compare it to something, it's like think of like an independent artist that you might listen to, and they live a
Mhm.
good life,
Hmm.
but they're not signed to Sony or Universal or things like that. They're just happy doing their own thing, making enough money to live good. And I think that's what AEW has like kind of figured out. That's what they are.
Hmm.
It's
Like they
about the
don't.
cult.
Yeah,
And
it's like
yeah.
you don't have to be the NFL or in this case the WWE. But what you can do is provide a stable fan base, a stable product, and none of your employees have to be carnies.
Right. And I mean, and that's all you can really ask for now, especially, in terms of like just think about all the variety of like music artists.
Right.
Like you have the main people, but you also have people like on Spotify and Apple Music who can just upload their songs onto Spotify. Like it's really pretty revolutionary. And even like YouTube, think about like YouTube stars, influencers or whatever, right? Normally there was like one avenue where you had to go to a specific college or whatever modeling agency, and now anyone, I mean, for good or for worse, anyone can be an influencer or popular, get their 15 minutes of fame, and you can make your niche. And I think now it's you don't have the luxury of capturing the entire globe's attention, because the entire globe has so many different outlets and avenues they can consume their entertainment. So it's I feel like it's near impossible to make something like super popular or as popular as it is with like such a focused audience as it was in the 90s. I don't
Right.
think it's impossible, because there are of course things that people's imaginations get captured. Like it's not like that's non-existent, but I think it's increasingly difficult based on all the options you have to consume.
Right.
Um,
Like a good way to like tie into that is
mhm.
like remember when we were kids and it'd be like New Music Tuesdays or whatever that was.
Right. Yeah.
Or like even like I used to get ready for school and put on the news and then be like, oh yeah, this is dropping today because it's New Music Tuesday. And like now it 100,000 to 120,000 songs get uploaded a day.
Right, exactly.
Crazy.
And think about like just major stars. Like you can't. I feel like you can't ever have like a Michael Jackson anymore again because it was such. It was like such a like. It was just the 4 or 5 news channels like would be covering it, so that's all you're inundated with. And of course, the music was great, and radio was a majority of the way people listened to their music. And the people who were in charge of those radio stations chose the kind of music that they wanted to play too. So yeah, I like it. It was such like a concentrated force of attention that someone that can get that big like Michael Jackson.
Nah, Michael pull those numbers today.
maybe. But with all the competition, I feel like it's increasingly less likely for a phenomenon like that to happen. But who knows?
Like The Weeknd.
Yeah, like we have people who are popular. Like The Weeknd is popular, but like again, like it's like Michael Jackson. Like you did, there wasn't a day. I mean, for better or for
There'll
worse.
never be another Mike.
Yeah, of like news stories about him and all that kind of stuff. It was crazy.
Propaganda.
Yeah. So
I'll be the one to say it. Sorry.
Allegedly.
but like I'm sure The Weeknd like has their their audience and stuff, but I feel like
Right.
like MJ or even like Britney Spears, or for example, like they'd be mocked immediately if you saw them on the street, right? Like I feel like even big wrestlers, big celebrities now, it wasn't that kind of like, it's not that same kind of dynamic. I don't know how else to explain it. Unless
You ain't no Hogan.
through it. Yeah. So speaking of Hogan,